like, you know what, if you see somebody with the chain on, with that little vial of blood on their neck, well, they a Scientologist, bro. So it's definitely going to be footage of them somewhere doing something compromising. That's how a lot of these agreements get made. People get endorsed. How they get that deal out of nowhere? Because, like, I think he one of them Scientology people, bro. Because that's probably where he got that from.
Diddy's name has long been tied to power, fame, and controversy, but now, new whispers and old shadows are coming together in ways that are too strange to ignore. The talk about freaky parties, strange spiritual practices, secret recordings, and high-level blackmail isn't just coming from tabloids anymore. It's coming from insiders, former friends, and even people who used to work closely with him. What's worse is that some of these rumors are being compared to the secretive world of Scientology and the even darker rituals of Bohemian Grove. If what people are saying is true, then Diddy might not just be a party-loving celebrity, he might be part of something much more complex and frightening. There's been a growing belief that Diddy's wild parties weren't just for fun. People close to him have said these events were actually setups, carefully planned with cameras, lights, and secret motives. A-listers, rising stars, and even political figures were invited, treated to luxury and drinks, and then recorded doing things they wouldn't want the world to see. These recordings, it said, didn't just vanish, they became tools, leverage, power. That pattern sounds very similar to what former Scientologists have described for years. In the Church of Scientology, auditing sessions are recorded and kept, with deeply personal information used to control or punish anyone who tries to leave or speak out. So, when people started comparing Diddy's methods to that of Scientology, it raised eyebrows. But the comparisons didn't stop there. Bohemian Grove entered the conversation, and that changed the tone completely. This secretive, elite gathering, hidden deep in Northern California, is known for its strange rituals, powerful guests, and total silence from the media. Footage from the year 2000 showed real ceremonies, grown men in robes, torches in hand, and symbolic acts played out before a massive stone owl. What was once laughed off as a silly tradition now looks a lot darker. That same energy is what people say they felt at Diddy's gatherings. According to claims, his private events mirrored some of the strange ceremonies seen at Bohemian Grove, and with reports that law enforcement raided his home and found tapes. Some are wondering if those recordings could hold proof of things far beyond what we imagined. It's not just party guests who are talking. Former employees, bodyguards, and artists have started speaking out. One former bodyguard, known as Big Homie CC, said flat out that he believes Diddy took a page right out of the Scientology and Bohemian Grove playbook. He talked about how these secret groups love to create situations where people feel safe, only to trap them in uncomfortable or shameful moments that are secretly recorded. And when the party's over, the real game begins. Those recordings are used to gain loyalty or silence. It's not about sexuality, style, or even drugs. It's about control, manipulation, and power. People have also pointed to Jamie Foxx's past friendship with Diddy. Fox once joked about filming everything at Diddy's parties, showing up with a giant camera and recording everything like a documentary. At the time, it seemed funny, just another wild story from Hollywood. But now, looking back, those moments feel different. Fox was later struck with a mysterious illness that kept him out of the public eye for months. No real explanation was given, just silence. He was also close to Katie Holmes, who famously escaped from her marriage to Tom Cruise in Scientology. According to some reports, Holmes worked very hard to keep her daughter away from the influence of the church. If Jamie Foxx knew things from that side and also had deep ties to Diddy's world, it's possible he saw too much.
A lot of voids,
Smith
and you think that success,
both have been
marriage,
tied to Scientology.
children,
J-Dot even helped
whatever,
launch a school that
right?
reportedly
It is
used Scientology teaching methods. Leah Remini, a former Scientologist
trying
who's
to
been
figure
exposing
out
the church's secrets for years,
what love
said she
was,
often
how to
saw
feel
Jada
loved.
at the Scientology Celebrity Center.
At places
Jada denied it, but Leah stuck by her words. Leah also shared a bizarre story about a visit to Tom Cruise's home with the Smiths, where he allegedly made grown adults play hide and seek. It was strange, childish, and unsettling, not the kind of thing most people expect from elite stars. But in this world, odd behavior is often a cover for something deeper. Now, take all those pieces and connect them to Diddy's timeline. His relationship with Cassie, which ended in a high-profile lawsuit, exposed even more disturbing details. Cassie described being watched, manipulated, and isolated experiences that sounded eerily similar to what former Scientologists have reported. She didn't talk about e-meters or auditing, but she did talk about emotional control, luxury turned into pressure, and being broken down over time. These weren't just relationship issues, they were signs of a much larger system of control. Then comes Jaguarite, a singer who's been vocal about secret societies and their links to celebrities. She once claimed that these elite groups, including Scientology and other secret organizations, operate together. She described a building near where Biggie was killed, saying it glowed blood red at night and gave off a sinister vibe. She said it looked like a Masonic monument, not something built for peace or art, but for ritual. She said the entire neighborhood felt off, like something darker was happening behind closed doors, and she's not alone. Psychic Sloan Bella has also spoken out about Diddy. She said blackmail footage exists, and that Diddy isn't even the top of the food chain, according to her. He answers to even more powerful people, folks with international connections and deep influence. She said the goal of these rituals and events is not just to embarrass people, it's about harvesting trauma, breaking spirits, and turning people into tools. She talked about energy manipulation and spiritual traps that go way beyond money or sex. She said some locations in Los Angeles have the same energy as Bohemian Grove, places that look peaceful but hide something much darker beneath. The more people dig, the more connections they find. Dave Chappelle's name keeps coming up. Years ago, he walked away from a $50 million deal and went to Africa. At the time, the media called him crazy, unstable. But now, people are starting to say he might have seen something he couldn't unsee. There was even a website that claimed a group called the Dark Crusaders, made up of powerful black celebrities, tried to pressure him into submission. When he refused, they allegedly threatened his family. It sounds unbelievable until you compare it to what critics of Scientology have experienced. The church has long been accused of using a strategy called fair game, where anyone who speaks out becomes a target. People are followed, smeared, cut off from loved ones, and even lose their jobs or homes. The system is designed to silence people with fear. So now we're left asking, could Diddy really be part of something dark? Could he have used the same tools, the same methods, and even the same symbols as Bohemian Grove and Scientology to build and protect his empire? Is this just conspiracy talk, or is there a deeper truth hiding in plain sight? When the raid on his property happened, people were shocked, but not everyone. Some insiders have been saying for years that something wasn't right, that there were tapes, that there were victims, and that there was a system in place to keep it all quiet. The fact that footage may exist linking Diddy to Bohemian Grove-style events takes things from bizarre to terrifying. It means he wasn't just hosting parties. He might have been recreating something far older, far more controlled, and far more dangerous. These rituals, if true, aren't about simple thrills. They're about creating loyalty through fear. They're about turning free people into puppets. When people talk about all statues, torches, and chanting under trees, it's not just movie stuff, it's real, it's ancient, and in the wrong hands, it becomes a tool for controlling not just individuals but entire industries. Sloan Bella said it plainly, we are being harnessed, and if people choose not to see it, maybe it's because they're scared, or maybe because they've already accepted the silence. And what about the younger artists? Sloan and others have said that more voices are coming. Young musicians who were used, tricked, or abused might speak out. Some might be from the U.S., others from overseas, but the system they describe will be the same.
And
power
you think
built
that
on secrecy,
success,
and spiritual
marriage,
manipulation.
children,
It's not about gay or straight.
Whatever, right?
It's not
but
about music or
those
movies.
That
it's about energy, control, and keeping the machine running no
trying to
matter
figure
the cost.
out
There were even people
what
pointing
love
to donations,
was, how to feel
asking
loved.
why certain celebs only support certain
places are
causes.
sanctuary.
They say it's not charity, it's payment, a way to stay protected, a way to signal loyalty. It's all connected. And if the claims about Diddy are even half true, then we're not just dealing with a man, we're looking at a system that's been feeding on silence, secrecy, and suffering for a long time. So what's next? Will more footage leak? Will more names be exposed? Or will the silence continue? That depends on us. Are we willing to keep asking questions, to keep watching the patterns, and to finally believe the people who've been screaming into the void for years? Because the truth isn't hiding, it's right in front of us, and it's waiting to be seen. And if you're still here, that means you're one of the few who's paying attention. Keep your eyes open. Keep your mind sharp, because the story isn't over, it's only beginning. When we start to look deeper into the world surrounding Diddy, we begin to realize that these allegations aren't isolated. They're part of a pattern. One that stretches across music, film, fashion, and even politics. It's not just about one celebrity with too much money and power. It's about a structure that protects people like him, while punishing those who try to leave or speak out. And when you line up the pieces, Bohemian Grove rituals, Scientology control methods, secret societies, manipulated spiritual teachings, they all seem to echo the same dark blueprint. More voices are now coming forward, not just from the entertainment industry, but from former staff, ex-security personnel, and even psychics who say they've felt and seen this dark web of control. And the most chilling part is how it always seems to involve rituals meant to break a person down, erase their sense of control, and rebuild them as an obedient, hollow version of themselves, whether it's through drugs, isolation, flattery, or fear. The goal remains the same: take away their free will and fill that space with submission. The stories about Diddy's involvement in strange spiritual events aren't new, but they're gaining traction now because of how similar they are to what's already been reported. About Bohemian Grove, the fire rituals, the chanting, the men in robes, and the altar all come from a place most people consider too strange to be real. But the footage from Alex Jones and 2000 real footage changed that. It confirmed that those events do happen, and they're attended by some of the most powerful men in the world. The fact that insiders are now saying Diddy recreated similar setups behind closed doors is disturbing. It turns his image from flashy party host to possible ritual coordinator. It also explains why people have been so hesitant to speak. Because if the people who run these events also hold the keys to your contracts, your finances, your image, and even your personal life, speaking out isn't just hard, it's dangerous. And those who dared to talk, like Cassie, Jaguar, Wright, and Sloan Bella, have been met with silence from the mainstream media. That silence says more than words ever could. It shows who's really in charge. Even the strange symbolism linked to Diddy's circle adds fuel to the fire. Chains with vials of blood, red glowing buildings, and gatherings with mysterious guests. Liz, Jaguar Wright talked about one such building. Near where Biggie died, its lights turning blood red at night, its energy oppressive. Almost like it was built for rituals rather than remembrance. That doesn't sound like an accident. It sounds like a warning. One that's been hiding in plain sight for decades. We've also seen how people who try to escape the system are dealt with. Dave Chappelle, Jamie Foxx, Leah Remini, each of them either walked away from major opportunities or were forced into silence. After trying to speak out, some got lucky and returned. Others were sidelined, branded as crazy, unstable, or ungrateful. But if these people really were trying to escape something sinister, then maybe their so-called breakdowns were actually breakthroughs. And let's not forget the international side of this. Sloan Bella said it clearly: there are men in other countries who will come forward. These aren't just entertainment figures. They're politicians, businessmen, and influencers who are connected through Diddy, Scientology, or the larger secret networks operating behind the scenes. If that starts to happen, the world might finally see how big and deep this system really is. What's worse is that many of these secrets are still being kept, because they're wrapped in spiritual language and disguised as self-help or success. Rituals. People are told they're joining something powerful, enlightened, or sacred.
And you think that
but what they're really walking into is a trap.
Marriage,
they're
children,
giving up their privacy, their peace,
whatever,
and
right?
sometimes
But
even their morality in
those
exchange
things
for
that if we
fame, money,
use
and
it to
acceptance.
nourish,
And once they're in,
trying
the
to
way out is
figure
painful
out
and dangerous.